1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Wanderers this morning came by. Where do they go? Graceful in the morning light. The banner fair follow you softly in the cool mountain air. Through the forest down to your grave, where the birds wait and the tall grasses wave. They do not know you anymore. More, Dear shadow, alive and well, how can the body die? Do tell me everything, anything true. Jesse, I don't know what I have done. I'm turning myself into a demon. I don't know what I have done. I'm turning myself into a demon. La la da 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 da.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons. Today I'm sharing with you a spooky little acoustic song by one of my favorite bands, the Fleet Foxes. This is Tiger Mountain Peasant Song. Let's get started. Okay, a close look at the guitar, and we're all tuned up in standard tuning with the Uber tuner. Now, this tune was originally tuned down 1/2 step, but in all the live versions that I've watched, it's always in standard tuning, so that's how we're going to do it today. The only chords that we're going to be needing: A minor, a D7/F sharp, the middle finger just goes up to the 2nd fret of the low E string, a G major chord, and an E minor. We'll also be needing the chord F major, which is played actually with a C in the bass, so it's F major/C. So my 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the low A string, my pinky underneath that, my middle finger on the G string 2nd fret, and my 1st finger here on the 1st fret of the B string. So that is an F major/C. Now you could bar the high E string too, but we're actually not going to be using that string at all, so there's no need to. Okay, so this verse starts off with a short little introduction over A minor. This gives us an opportunity to take a look at the right hand picking technique that's going to transpire throughout the whole tune. I'm going to start off by demonstrating it, then I'll break it down. It sounds like this. Okay, so that's the finger picking pattern. He also adds in a little bit of a hammer on that too on the 2nd time. So with that A minor fretted, what I'm doing there is thumb on the A string, pointer finger on the G string, and middle finger on the B string. I pluck all those strings together. Then I have this little back and forth action. That's my thumb playing the D string, and then my pointer and middle playing the G and B treble strings again. And then back to the D string. So we have A, G, and B together, just the D string, those 2 treble notes again, G and B, and then back to the D. And that is the basic finger picking technique that goes throughout the entire tune. The only thing that changes from chord to chord is what the thumb does. The thumb is going to be following the roots. So as you go to like a G chord, for example, you'll play these same two strings here on the G and B strings, but the thumb would come up to the E string because that's where our root of that chord is. So to practice this, see if you can apply that finger picking pattern to the various chords that we're using in this verse. Okay, now that you have the finger picking pattern down, you can master this intro section. Counting in threes, 1, 2, and 3, just normal over the A minor. Every second time, remember we hammer on 1 and 2 and 3. Just the whole chord, open strength, and then hammering down on the end. 1 and 2 and 3. Once you've done that twice, jump into the verse chords, the pattern over A minor. Then bring the middle finger up so that way you're playing a D7/F sharp. There we're going to play. So it's the same pattern except the thumb started off on the E string instead. So we have E string, G string, and B string, and then back to the D string. So when you switch to a chord that has a root on the E string, everything is the same except for that initial strike. That's how it's going to sound over the D7/F sharp. Then the same right hand technique over G major and E minor. Now we have our full intro. Do that chord progression again before coming in singing.
Wanderers this morning came by.
So on and so forth. Okay, so that introduction is going to be identical to our verse. They're basically the same exact part, same exact chords. A minor chord to the D7/F sharp, to the G, and the E minor. We just got to repeat that one more time, but stop here at the G, omitting the E minor to get into our B section. So the verse will sound like,
Wanderer this morning came by.
Same picking pattern.
Where do they go? Graceful in the...
And right there, we're going to go through the G major pattern, and then stop, go into the B section, which will sound like this. Okay, so just a two-part verse, very simple. The chords that we're going to be needing for this section, that F with the C in the bass, G major, and C major. And they're going to fall together in kind of an off-time way. The F and G, C, real short. F, G, C. Not putting any of the right hand technique in there just yet. With the verse, it would sound like, let me look at the lyrics here.
In morning light, to banner fair, to follow you softly in the cool mountain air.
All right, now adding in our right hand technique, we have, it's kind of my own way of doing it. Sounds very nice, it works very well, and I'm pulling from lots of live sources because I'll admit, it's very difficult to hear exactly what's going on the recorded version. I think I got it pretty darn close. So, with that F, with the C in the bass, we're gonna strike the A, G, and B. Go through our pattern just as normal. The D string and then those treble tones again, but then don't go back to the D string. Just pluck the G major chord, E string, G string, and B string. Then do the same thing on the C chord, where we're going to put some more tricks in just a second. So far we have. Let's practice that one more time. The F chord. Okay, if you have those three shapes down, we're going to add a little bit more to the C major chord now. We come in with that initial strike, the A, the G, and the B, right? Then we're going to play the D string, and then the treble strings again. Just like we initially did on the F with the C in the bass. Then I like to hit a little hammer on to the D string 3rd fret with the pinky. Just just like that. In the context, then I repeat the whole thing again. Just like that. Now another trick I might throw in from time to time is a little hammer-on with my middle finger on the G string. Now I'm putting a little bit of myself into this. Let me try that one more time for you so you can hear how it sounds. Yeah, just like that. One more time real slow. Okay, one last look at this little B section in the verse. We have the F with the C in the bass, to the G chord, to the C major chord through the pattern, with the pinky hammer-on, just like that. So that was actually the whole pattern, but we just added in a little bit of the hammer-on, right? That's how it's gonna sound. We need to do that twice, and then on the third one, we just hang on the F chord and go straight to G, where we're gonna hang out on that chord. 4 times through the pattern. Okay, so the second verse is gonna be the exact same thing as the first, going through the same chord progression. Through the forest and down to your grave, where the birds wait, and so on and so forth. But then we're gonna follow that verse up with just an instrumental verse singing more. This is gonna get us into the chorus. Okay, on to the chorus. Congratulations to everyone who's made it this far. For this section, we're just gonna need some variations of the C major chord. C major with the pinky on there, it's a C add 9. That's the pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string. Then we're gonna take both of these fingers off, okay? My first and pinky are waving up in the air. Open B string makes this a C major 7 chord. So far we have. And then we're right back to that C chord. The other chord that we're gonna be needing is that D7 with the F sharp in the bass. And then also a G major chord with a little bit of melody involved. Okay, I'm gonna demonstrate this chorus for you, then I'll break it down. It's gonna sound like this. Okay, so all I had there was the C major chord, and I'm going 1, 2, 3, striking the A, G, and B strings. Then my pinky goes up to the C add 9 with my pinky on the 3rd fret, B string. Same approach. Then both fingers come off, C major 7. Then put the first finger back on, but we're gonna include the high E string on this section. Those 3 strums there, I'm striking the B and high E string instead, okay? Just for a little effect. You don't have to do it, but make it sound a little bit more like the record. Then repeat. But here I'm just gonna stick to my guns, same strings, before going on to my D7 with the F sharp in the bass. Do that 4 times before going into the G major chord with a little bit of melody. Okay, so that G major chord, it's gonna have my first finger going on to the 1st fret of the B string playing a C note, and there I'm gonna try to actually pluck again the E string, G string, and B string, then the open B string. Then I have the 2nd fret G, so we have then the open B string, which is inside the chord, G string, D string, low E string. Okay, so let's try all that real slow. We have the C, to the 9, major 7, back to the C, C, to the 9, major 7, back to the C, the F sharp. Again, and one more, and G chord. Okay, so we're gonna have another verse in the album version. I've heard a lot of live versions where he omits this verse, but it's gonna be the exact same thing. But it's gonna be followed by a nice little slow part over E minor and A, just singing the name Jesse. Jesse. This is going to usher in the bridge section. It's gonna sound like this. I don't know what I have done. I'm turning myself into a demon. Hold out the C chord. Repeat. I don't know, B flat. I've done. I'm turning myself into a demon. All right. This is the section that also kind of ushers us into the outro. All right, so before we get there though, let's master this bridge. We have the chord C major with the G in the bass. Very momentous, robust chord. So my third finger is taking the G note, 3rd fret, low E string, pinky below that. Then just set up the C major chord as normal. Middle finger on the 2nd fret, D string. And my first finger on the 1st fret of the B string. The next chord that we need is a B flat major chord. You can just take your A chord, bring it up 1 fret, and bar the 1st fret for that B flat. The way I play it is I blanket my 3rd finger across the D, G, and B string, and then block my high E string. Okay, so we have C with the G in the bass. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bouncing back and forth between those chords. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, B, 2, 3, C, 2, 3. Back to the B flat. C, 2, 3, B flat. And then C, 2, 3, C, 2, 3. Now we're doing this twice, but we're gonna extend that C chord for 2 measures in 3/4 time, just to cut it up, okay? So before repeating it, hold out that C chord just a little extra. All right, then repeat the whole thing. Know what I have done, I'm turning myself into a demon. All right, now that you have that, you can add in a little bit of a strumming pattern. Over the C chord, down, down, up, B flat, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. So your right hand is saying 1, 2, and 3, and 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 myself unto a demon. Hold out the C. Repeat. I don't know what I have done. I'm turning myself into a demon. Hold out the C chord again before going into our outro. Okay, so final section of the tune. Congrats again to everyone who's made it this far. This part's very simple, just an A minor chord shape. Taking it up a whole step after that. Then a bit of like a C chord type thing. We're taking an A major chord and putting it on the 5th fret. And then going back the way you came. A minor, drag it up. 5th fret with the A shape, and then back. And I'm doing the same strumming pattern that I had in my bridge. Down, down, up, thinking 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and... This is all he does live. In the recorded version, he has a little bit different. We have 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and... But here we're gonna go... Just strike there. Dun, 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 and get a little bit of a G major chord in there. Now, all I have is my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string. And that's just enough to get me back to the beginning of this little segment. You can even throw in your original picking pattern. See how that works? Just strike it once, bum, bum, to the A minor, to a little piece of that G major chord, and then repeat. Final section of Tiger Mountain Peasant Song. Alright everyone, thanks so much for checking out this lesson on Tiger Mountain Peasant Song by the Fleet Foxes. Before I sign off, I want to invite you all to check out my blog, freephillyguitarlessons.com, where I'm posting lots of resources and also a ton of advice. You can subscribe there and make your suggestions for future videos. In the meantime, please share. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia saying happy picking.